Remember, you can call them and 2187 to make it easier.
From poison triggers and then 21 recognize the object in the woman's hand as a native.
This video was originally sent to me 2 days ago by Johnny Rizzo. That's going to be his code name. For those of you who've seen the movie The Jerky Boys, you know where I got the last name.
What's your name?
Paul. Paul Rizzo.
Paul what?
Paul Rizzo.
Rizzo?
Yeah.
Where do you live?
I live upstate.
It was the Gillette sensor commercial. Just reading some of the things he had to say about it, I knew it was something I didn't want to watch. Because I'm real sick and tired of movies, television, Twitter, ads and publication telling me I'm bad because I'm a man. I'm fucking sick to death of it. Straight men in America are some of the most vilified fucking animals on the goddamn planet. And it's really, I'm fucking fed up with it. You know, don't you get sick of just waking up and seeing some sort of shit before you can piss that tells you how bad you are just because you're a man? You haven't done anything but woke up this morning. And odds are the average man in America is a working class hero. Because most men are taking care of somebody else's baggage. And 9 times out of 10, it's a woman's. Well, it's your mother, your sister, your girlfriend, your daughter, sometimes your sons, your brothers, whatever. There's always some dude, some stand-up guy out there carrying more weight and more burdens than he should. And at the end of the day, you get shit like this to tell you you're bad. And already this video is probably demonetized because I've just dropped the dirty words, so to hell with it. Maybe I'll edit them out, maybe I won't. So let's see how far I can get into this. It's 1 minute and 48 seconds of pandering. Get yourself ready.
Bullying.
The Me Too movement against sexual harassment.
Toxic masculinity.
Toxic masculinity. Right there. You know, nobody complains about toxic masculinity when it's out there picking up your garbage, cleaning the sewer ducts, climbing on scaffoldings, building buildings. Nobody has anything bad to say about masculinity at that point. Nope. There was some random shootout that happened last year, near the end of the year, at some bar where these college kids were. And the male students shielded the female students with their bodies. Nobody has anything bad to say about masculinity then.
So while we were all dogpiled over at the side, there were multiple men that got on their knees and pretty much blocked all of us with their back towards the shooter, ready to take a bullet for any single one of us. And just the amount of people that made sure everyone got out okay, or if they were out, they made sure they went around to every single person around them and asked them if they're okay, and if they needed a phone to call their family, or just in general, any way they could help. It was awesome.
But nobody really talks about those sort of acts quite often. So already I'm pissed. And they even mentioned the Me Too movement.
Meant originally, as we just heard, to empower women and give some women the confidence, I guess, to call out sexism. Has it been derailed a little?
Absolutely. It's been given women a license to destroy men on the basis of the most trivial accusations. I mean, one of my favourites was this Canadian MP who got upset. She was having a photo taken with 2 other MPs, 2 men on either side of her, and one of them made a joke saying, this wasn't the sort of threesome I had in mind. She said she was traumatised for 6 months. I mean, this is just madness, this stuff. Women calling out men that say it was a Me Too accusation of sexual assault because he gave me bad sex. I mean, this has done, I mean, what started off as a really important issue has absolutely been derailed and given women the right to behave extremely badly and destroy men who have done something to upset them at any point.
So a woman is now behind bars for lying about rape.
19-year-old Nikki Jovino claimed that she was raped in 2016 by two Sacred Heart University football players, but she then admitted that she was lying. Unfortunately, so much of the damage had already been done. Jonathan Hunt is live in our West Coast newsroom with the backstory here. Hi, Jonathan.
Good evening, Martha. Jury selection was already underway in this case, which has irrevocably changed the lives of the accuser, now the one awaiting sentencing, and the accused, who it turns out were actually the victims. Nikki Jovino had originally claimed that two Sacred Heart football players had pulled her into a bathroom at a party in 2016 and then took turns raping her. And as recently as January, her lawyer had said Jovino wanted the case tried.
We're ready to get this story in front of a jury. We think that there is more to this story than has been portrayed in the media.
But this week, Jovino accepted a plea deal admitting she had made up the assault allegation because, as her arrest warrant affidavit stated, quote, it was the first thing that came to mind, and she didn't want to lose another male student as a friend and potential boyfriend. And the affidavit also said Jovino believed when the other student, quote, heard the allegation, it would make him angry and sympathetic to her. Investigators said the football players admitted having sex with Jovino, but said it was consensual. Their attorney said the plea deal cannot make up for what Jovino has put the young men through, but that, quote, it does send a powerful message that lying about a serious incident carries serious consequences. Jovino's lawyer said, quote, this was a very difficult decision for Nikki and a sad day for her and her family. She will now begin the process of healing and rehabilitation as she awaits her final sentence. Under the plea bargain, Jovino will be formally sentenced August 23rd and will spend 1 year in prison.
I mean, it's extraordinary because we're in the middle of this, nationwide Me Too movement where we're told that all women should be believed.
Guilt by association is wrong. And so, for that matter, is innocence by association, which is the premise behind the slogan, Believe All Women. Women, like men, are fallible beings. Even the feminist standard-bearer Margaret Atwood acknowledged this in a recent article on the excesses of Me Too. My fundamental position, Atwood said, is that women are human beings with a full range of saintly and demonic behaviors this entails, including criminal ones. They are not angels, incapable of wrongdoing. I think her words should be etched in stone. The factual feminist is also concerned about the hysterical overreaction to anyone who dares to introduce a note of moderation. Consider what happened to the actor Matt Damon. In an interview with ABC in December of 2017, Damon described Me Too as totally necessary, and he said that all forms of harassment had to be eradicated without question. But he insisted on nuance. There is a difference, he said, between patting someone on the butt and rape or child molestation. There is a spectrum of behavior running from the iniquities of Harvey Weinstein to the boorish indiscretions of Senator Al Franken. And punishment ought to be proportionate. Minor transgressors shouldn't necessarily lose their jobs. In such cases, there's a place for remorse, apology, forgiveness. Well, Damon's comments were reasonable, humane. Who could possibly disagree? Well, a lot of people apparently. More than 28,000 Me Tooers signed a petition demanding that Damon be erased from an upcoming film. Progressive Twitter was outraged. Minnie Driver, Damon's former co-star, tweeted that he was systematically part of the problem, and she'd later tell The Guardian that there is no hierarchy of abuse. It's all effing wrong. Her advice to Damon and men everywhere was to remain silent. The time right now is for men just to listen. Well, I'm a woman, so I don't have to be silent, and I think Damon was right. Many drivers claim that there is no hierarchy of abuse is incoherent. Gradations of harm and degrees of guilt are fundamental to our moral intuitions and our legal system. Our criminal laws make many fine distinctions among bad and worse actions, and so do our judgments of others in everyday life. As comedian Bill Maher pointed out, justice requires weighing things, That's why Lady Justice is holding a scale and not a sawn-off shotgun. And telling men as a species to shut up and listen, that isn't progress, it's sexism.
Is this the best a man can get? Is it?
Bullying. Really? When's the last time there's been a school bully? There's so many school programs now where if you do any bullying, you just get expelled from the school. And frankly, bullying is something that's needed. I'm sorry, but I think it is needed.
We need bullies. How the fuck you gonna have a school with no bullies? Bullies do half the work. That's right. Teachers do one half, bullies do the whole other half. And that's the half you're gonna use as a fucking grown-up. That's right. Who gives a fuck if you can code? If you start crying because your boss didn't say hi. Shit, pressure makes diamonds. Not hugs. So I hug a piece of coal and watch what you get. You get a dirty shirt.
The reason why most of the young men today are fucking cream puffs is because no one socked them in the face. Nothing forced them to be strong. And then they wake up into a world when they become adults where nobody's there to take care of you or understand your feelings. A man walks a lonely road.
It's likely happening here in bullying as well. A problem
We can't hide from it.
Internet bullying is so, my God, really something for internet bullying? Mother of God. If you are triggered by someone calling you something on the internet, you're weak. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. You're weak. Being harassed on the internet happens to everybody. And frankly, I'd rather be called a faggot online than all the times I was called a faggot as a boy and got the ever-loving stuffing kicked out of me. I remember back then, when I got my ass kicked, the bullies would not only beat me, I know I told the story before, but then they would spray paint dicks on me. All right, I'd have dicks all over my body. They'd write faggot on my face with markers and shit after kicking my ass. Then I got to walk home covered in dicks while people drive by going, why's that little boy got dicks on his face? He's got dicks all over his bag. Homo. Now someone calls you a loser or a fag in Overwatch and people start crying profusely and demand someone to be banned. This is absolutely nothing. My God.
It's been going on far too long.
Oh, please, they haven't had any sort of television show where some guy randomly grabbed a woman's ass since like Three's Company. And even then, that didn't happen. That is such a dated reference. That's literally like the Honeymooners, dude. Like, that is so far back in time. It was like the 1930s or 40s. Why are we even showing this? It's almost holding modern men responsible for shit that happened back in the day. And if that's the case, I may as well hold all of Germany responsible right now. Hans, if you're listening to me, you're about 12 years old. It's your fault Hitler existed, you little German prick. Oh, let's see. Videos where guys are dancing with hot chicks and they're in bikinis. So like every rap video ever. Almost every MTV TV show in the 90s and probably still to now. Who gives a hot fucking cock? Do you know why I like Telemundo? I'm going to tell you right now. Because on Telemundo, even though I don't speak any Spanish, I could watch hot chicks on the beach wearing these, like, these tiny little bikinis just dancing.
Me gusta, me gusta. Ah, sí, muy bien. Muy caliente. ¿Qué pasa, qué pasa? Te quiero, mama. Yes, shake it. Shake it for the green card, baby. Comprende. Get out of here, dog. Fuck off. You can fuck off too, Chico.
And I just sit there and I used to enjoy it when I was a boy. And I'm sure it's still going on. It was just mindless fun. Just like this. Why isn't anyone complaining about the dude back there? He's not even wearing a shirt. This is sexist. I can see his nipples.
We can't laugh it off.
Who's the daddy?
What type of shit is this? On what planet is there like a father on a TV show where he's in charge of anything or gets to do this sort of shit? Every TV show now or sitcom where you watch and there's a father, he's either fat and retarded, skinny and retarded.
It would have been all over except promises of a better performance next time. Don't pay any attention to her. I'm glad you kids are here. Stay as long as you want.
Oh, thanks, Al. We're suing you, you know.
Fine. Take it all. I've had too much for too long.
So, what do you think?
With the image of the father being Homer Simpson or Ray Romano, and the wife constantly rolling her eyes at him, if he's lucky enough to have the father in the house, why wouldn't the boy internalise himself in that role? When the mother is at best tolerating a incompetent, bumbling idiot, or at worst, complaining that her ex-husband is not providing enough, doesn't want to see you, where is he wasn't good enough. What image of a future man or father is this boy supposed to internalise? I'll tell you where he gets it from. He gets it from the only place he knows how. From the women in his life who are all raising him at a young age, and through his entertainment. And all of them tell him that he should be a hero. He gets it from being the opposite of what the women in his life are complaining about. And he gets it from the positive image he sees in movies and comic books. The hero. A sacrificial man. Looking after and looking out for everyone's interests but his own. Maybe then he thinks, maybe then society and women will love him. So he puts on the theatrical affectations of heroism.
Like literally the father character in most shows is like this neutered male animal that somehow sired children, even though his balls have been cut off. And he's nothing more than to be there for comic relief. What planet does this show exist where this is going on? And oh look, most of the people in the audience laughing are men. They're laughing hysterically because he like creeped up behind a woman doing little hand gestures like he'd grab her ass. Oh my God, these filthy, toxic, sex-driven men.
What I actually think she's trying to say.
Making the same old...
Oh no! He touched her shoulder and he tried to reassure investors that their investments were going to be fine. Ah, he's belittled her and her job. The sexist, male chauvinist pig. This prick. What a scumbag. I can't believe in the year 2019, this is unacceptable. This wouldn't have happened if Hillary Clinton was president.
And I think it's making it a tough world for the likes of you. If you put your arm around me, I can say, oh dear, I'm traumatised. If I put my arm around you, nobody would pay 2 minutes worth of attention if you said, oh dear, you were traumatised.
Well, one of the other lines you say is that women want to be victimised.
Well, certainly that is the impression that women are giving now. I mean, I don't know that I've ever said women in general want to be victimised, because I don't think we do. But I think there is a cult of victimhood going on, whereby very trivial things that don't matter, I mean, wolf whistling doesn't matter. I quite like it, actually. Really doesn't matter. We've lost our sense of humour. We've lost our cheeriness. We've lost our sense of proportion. It's making for a horrible world.
Excuses.
Boys will be boys. Boys will be boys. Boys will be boys.
But something finally changed.
Oh, it's all men saying boys will be boys. Fuck that, dude. Most men were raised by their mothers. Fuck this commercial. This is bullshit. And if your father was at home in this modern era, he probably doesn't have much of a dick himself. Your father's got an oversized clit that you confuse as a cock in today's world, for God's sakes. Usually when I was a little boy, you know who was sitting there saying boys would be boys? All the women in the family. If I got hurt, you know what they told me? Man up. Stop crying. You're supposed to be a man. Get my ass kicked at school. Come home. Clothes ripped. Get yelled at. What's wrong with you? You ripped your new pants from Kmart. What the hell's your problem? They beat me up and blah, blah. You better learn how to fight. You better hit them back, blah, 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 blah. You know who used to tell me to hit a woman if a woman was whooping my ass? My mother. She was like, if a woman's beating your ass, you better beat her ass. Don't you come back here getting your ass whooped by a woman. Before you knew it, you'd have such a fucking complex from all the women in your family if you were short of what the ideal man was supposed to be. This commercial is shit.
The words we've heard over and over again is be a man. But the words be a man implies that there's a way to be a man. And if women are the ones raising men, it's no wonder that men end up being cartoonish heroes. It's about the only thing that they can infer from women's do better, be better, you're never good enough. Without any real male mentorship, what do we expect? The boy's taught by society, but more importantly, the mother, that his father isn't good enough, men aren't good enough, they need to work harder, they need to try harder. And since women never seem to be satisfied, the implication is that the male just needs to keep trying harder and sacrificing more and working harder.
Allegations regarding sexual assault and sexual harassment.
Hi, I'm Fox San Antonio's Jessica Headley.
And I'm Ryan Wolf.
Our greatest responsibility is to serve our
Treasure Valley communities, the El Paso, Las Cruces communities, Eastern Iowa communities,
Mid-Michigan communities.
We are extremely proud of the quality, balanced journalism that CBS 4 News produces.
But we are concerned about trouble and irresponsible, one-sided news stories plaguing our country.
The sharing of biased and false news has become all too common on social media. More alarming, some media outlets publish these same fake stories without checking facts first.
the sharing of biased and false news
has become all too common on social media.
More alarming, some media outlets publish these same fake stories without checking facts first.
Unfortunately, some members of the media use their platforms to push their own personal bias and agenda to control exactly what people think. And this is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
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 Oh, the Young Turks, really? We're using clips from the Young Turks. I'm fucking liberal and I think the Young Turks are shit. Get me the fuck out of here. Why do people send me this?
Constant male bashing, false accusations of violence being used to destroy men's lives, women denying men access to their children. There are endless rules in our society now which are about demonising men. And my call is to the mothers of sons to say we have to look at what's happening to our boys. We have to look at what's happening to the men we love in our lives. That women have been given so much unfair power to destroy them if they like.
Who do the dirty, dangerous work of building roads, pouring concrete, laying bricks, tarring roofs, hanging electric wires, excavating natural gas and sewage lines, cutting and clearing trees and bulldozing. Well, is it any surprise that the Bureau of Labor Statistics reports that every year about 5,000 Americans die in workplace accidents, 92% of them men. Now, we hear all about the Fortune 500 CEOs, but what about the unfortunate 4,600? Now, alongside male salaries, perhaps some mention should be made of male sacrifice. Now, whenever distressed gender warriors draw up lists of male advantages, they almost always mention men's freedom from fear of being attacked. Now, it's true that women are much more likely to be victims of rape and sexual assault, but men are more likely to be victims of violent crime as a whole. And consider campus crime. It's actually men who need safe spaces more than women, because according to the Bureau of Justice Statistics, men are twice as likely to be victims of violent crime on campus. Look at the overall murder rate in our society. There were approximately 12,000 murder victims in 2013. 78% were men. And even on the internet, men face as much or more bullying than women. According to the Pew Research Center, more women than men are sexually harassed, but men are the primary targets of threats. And here are some more facts that challenge the male privilege mantra. Suicide, 78% male. Incarceration, 93% of federal inmates are male. And even when men and women commit the same crime and have similar criminal histories, men receive 63% longer prison sentences on average. Homelessness, it's estimated that about 60% of homeless individuals are male. Combat, 85% of active duty soldiers are men. And though there are many women serving in the armed services, Fewer than 8% profess a desire to engage in combat. If you visit a veterans hospital or a rehabilitation center, male privilege is not the first idea that will come to your mind. And now for the mother of all gender gaps, life expectancy. Women's average life expectancy is nearly 5 years longer than men's. Men have to be the only oppressor class in history who are less educated, more victimized, and have shorter lives than those they oppress. They must be the only oppressor class who have claimed society's gritty, dangerous jobs as their exclusive preserve. Well, the factual feminist verdict: modern life is a complicated mix of burdens and benefits for each sex. Men and women enjoy distinctive advantages and face distinctive challenges. So if men have to check their privilege, then so do women.
Discuss. Women have never had it so easy.
Well, we haven't. I mean, when I was graduating in the 1970s, it was perfectly lawful for an employer to advertise a job, and underneath it would be 2 rates of pay, one for men and one for women. It was lawful for that employer to say, we don't take women. It was lawful to refuse a woman a mortgage, a property to rent, a finance agreement, just because she was a woman. And you could say that was why you were refusing it. Now, the feminists of those days were shouting out, give us equality, give us a level playing field, we'll show you we're as good as, if not better than the men. In the 90s, that all changed. And instead of being about, we want a level playing field, it was, we want a tilted playing field towards us. We want all women shortlists, we want quotas. And so it's gone on until now you've got the whinging even of the Me Too movement, and I'm not talking about the more serious cases, but where a woman will say, oh, 5 years ago, you know, a man put his arm around me and you know, I didn't want it and it made me terribly uncomfortable. We've started to look for sources of grievance because effectively we have one. And the women I'm sorry for, if I can just say that one group of women, I don't think of one. And those are the women who want to be full-time mothers. That's their choice. And they're heavily discriminated against in the tax system, for a start, and by society in general, who seem to say, well, that's a second-class occupation.
Already, I'm seeing something that is telling me that my very existence is wrong. And I know most of the men that follow me, a lot of them are in the military. A lot of them. A lot of them are married men. A lot of them fucking do what has to be done. Whether they're standing on the front line of a battlefield holding a gun knowing one stray bullet it's game fucking over, or they're fucking washing dishes so they can support their family, many men that follow me do what must be done. We follow the hero archetype, and the hero archetype was a piece of shit sold to us that we spend the rest of our lives in service of the goddamn country and of the women in our lives, while we just sacrifice ourselves with this stoic look on our faces as we slowly fucking move towards the grave. And then while we're on the way, we now have videos like this to remind us that while we're doing the best we can, we could do better.
We're all born into sin, man, woman and child, and we spend the rest of our lives apologising, begging and grovelling. The new model of gynocentrism is only males are born in sin, and they spend the rest of their lives begging, grovelling, pleading, apologising, submitting to the female goddess in the hopes of getting into her heaven. We notice she's not born into sin. No, she's born perfect. She doesn't have to repent, be better, discipline herself or anything. She's absolutely perfect. The male is the one who has to better himself and keep trying harder and harder.
And there will be no going back. Because we believe in the best in men.
Men need to hold other men accountable.
Terry Crews can fuck himself. Do you hear me? Fuck you, Terry Crews, you scrub-ass motherfucker. Terry Crews, when the Me Too movement hit, do you know what this motherfucker did? This is right after all the buzz of him playing PC games and doing videos of Jay's 2 cents. Ooh, Jay's 2 cents built me a computer. Oh, I'm the cool computer dad. The motherfucker, as soon as Me Too hit, oh my God, Terry Crews was then running around using the Me Too hashtag, talking about a producer touched his dick. Then Terry Crews gets a restraining order. He goes to LAPD to get a restraining order. Your dick got touched like 1,000 years ago, and you're getting a restraining order in this motherfucker now, just so he could be a part of the Me Too movement and put himself back in the media. Do you know why? Because Terry Crews is a hack of an actor, and nobody's really using him anymore. Because how many roles are there for the ignorant black guy?
Everybody, my name is Nick, and we are Tattoo.
You know, isn't that his whole fucking career? Playing the buff, ignorant black guy? Playing the funny black guy, the big, muscular, stupid black guy? I have no respect for him. He's literally step and fetch it with muscles. Get the fuck out of here. Hanging on to what's left of your fame. Yeah, and you could say I never was, and that's only because I didn't get a shot, baby.
Smile, sweetie. Come on.
To say the right thing. To act the right way.
Bro, not cool, not cool.
What the fuck is this? What the fuck is this? Oh, every guy is just some lecherous pervert waiting next to some place to wait for a hot chick to walk past him so he can walk behind her and do catcalls. Maybe that idea was perpetuated by the viral video that was made specifically to make that sort of shit happen under erroneous circumstances. Oh, and guys at party, what was the guys at party thing? What was that? Like, what seriously was that? I don't even know what was going on. I just saw some chicks.
Smile, sweetie. Come on.
To say the right thing.
Oh, so a guy was filming these chicks at a party, and this other guy comes up and, come on. What was happening? Was he gonna somehow make them do porn? Was that it? Was he going to sexually molest them in some way with the camera? Was the camera gonna force them to do something? And some other guy has to go, come on, stop that. What is this garbage? And frankly, if a chick is in a situation where there's like weird guys hanging around, it's because she put herself there, all right? I'm not gonna like sugarcoat it. I've spent years of my life playing the hero role, trying to save women from themselves. And now that I'm older, I've realized I've done nothing but waste my life. At this point now, I realize I have to educate younger men to keep them from fucking up decades of their life, trying to make up for crimes they didn't commit. And this video is designed exactly for that. To neuter you further into making you think that you have to make up for other men when you didn't do a damn thing wrong.
The right way.
Bro, not cool, not cool.
Not cool, you want to talk to a hot chick? Not cool, you rapist.
Some already are. In ways big.
Nobody's chasing kids down the road like this anymore. That shit hasn't happened in 40 years.
Yo, men,
and small.
I am strong.
I am strong.
But some is not enough.
It's not how we treat each other, okay? Okay.
Oh my God. As if like one guy intervening on a group of kids would change something. Not where I grew up. I remember a teacher pissed off some kids in my school. They ganged up and beat his ass. He was gone for months. Then when he came back, the bitch was in crutches. He had a fucking neck brace on. I went to some rough ass schools. The best a man can get. Frankly, I've met some of the men of tomorrow. They're cream puffs. Nothing personal. Like what has happened to men now is they're neutered. And this does nothing more than further emasculate men and try to convince them that somehow we're inherently bad. Where are the videos that are like this but geared towards women? Oh, where are those? You want to find them? You're going to have to search the internet and actually do your own fucking research.
Two women accused of assaulting a transgender woman in a bar bathroom had their court cases continued this morning. Jessica Fowler turned herself in Tuesday, while Amber Harrell surrendered to law enforcement this weekend. CBS 17's Robert Richardson is digging deeper into the incidents of assaults against transgender people in efforts to protect and support victims.
Well, a former beauty queen has been arrested for sending nude photographs to a 15-year-old former student. She's also a teacher in West Virginia. Authorities accuse Beth Ann Burse, a former Miss Kentucky, reportedly sexting a boy who used to go to the middle school where she teaches. His mother found out and she called police. Investigators say Burse admitted to sending at least 4 inappropriate Snapchats. She was released on $10,000 bonds, and she did compete for the Miss America pageant back in 2014.
Because the way society paints everything, women are free of sin and men have a lot to prove. I noticed that it seems the Gillette Censor YouTube page is deleting as many any comments that are too derogatory or negative that get too high up voted will be deleted on this channel. So it's a typical YouTube algorithm. A lot like the Blizzard video when that came out. And they just started deleting comments of people being mad at Diablo Immortal. Keep deleting dislikes, comments, and having fake upvotes. I hope you... Nice. John Smith wrote, I once nearly got bullied to suicide by a girl when I was in high school. Do I not count? No, you don't, John. And the funny thing is, I've never... I didn't even talk about the shit girls did to me in school. Fuck. Like, being bullied by girls is like something even I've overlooked. Shit. I remember the black girls I went to school with, when they get into a fight, they'd hide razor blades in their mouth, and they wrap cardboard around the sharp part of the blade to keep them from cutting the inside of their mouths. And then when they get into fights, they pull out the razor blade and just start slicing each other. It's like fucking crazy, dude. This one chick I knew, named after a car because she was black. Not even gonna bother saying it. She had half her fucking face cut open. Shit was wild. She had like this huge scar, and it had like something you'd see in a goddamn John Woo movie. But you know, only men are toxic. Only men are bad. My wife's boyfriend loved this. This is the stupidest commercial ever. Gillette is supposed to be a razor company geared towards men. At least this commercial, obviously. I'm sure they make Gillette Censor for women. But yeah, never buying Gillette again. You can count on that. Shit, I'll give my money to Dollar Shave Club, you cocksuckers. I can't wait to see your your fucking stock prices in the next few months, you dickbags. The oldest comment is 30 minutes old. Strange. Seriously, yeah. You look at this and all the comments are literally... This is fuckery, dude. There's some from 3 hours ago, but they just get pushed down or vanish. I constantly hear women complaining that men don't approach them anymore. This commercial is part of the problem. Hey, you got a point. With the way things are now, you say something wrong to a chick, she could fucking have you brought up on charges damn near. Oh, that's funny. Here to drop a dislike, by the way, I'm a woman. It's always good to see that there are some women that can, honest to God, see through the mire of bullshit, and thank Christ for it. It gives me hope I might actually find a woman I can date.